Hello and welcome to Whimsy Creek Art. In today's video, I'm going to review the Royal Langnickel pouring medium and some of the paint. So today we're going to use the titanium white, the phthalo turquoise green, cobalt blue, and the violet. And I have their pouring medium, and it says that it takes 1 part pouring medium to 1 part paint, or 50-50, 50% paint, 50% pouring medium. So I'm just putting the same amount here in each. I just have some yogurt cups, some recycled yogurt cups that I am going to mix these in. And so I am putting equal parts of the pouring medium with the paint. And I'm going to mix those up with these popsicle sticks. And so this pouring medium and paint do mix very nicely. It mixes right up. So if you're going for the exact ratio that they say, the 50% paint to 50% pouring medium, equal parts, it is slightly thicker. So I am going to do a straight pour for the first one. So this video will have 2 pours in it. And so this first one is a straight pour, and I will not put silicone in it. And then the second pour I do will have silicone, and it'll just be a dirty pour. So all right, I'm just adding a little bit more pouring medium there. Always make sure you scrape the sides, scrape down at the bottom. The white is probably your hardest to mix up because it's hard to tell if you got it completely mixed. But I'm just going to use these 4 colors today in this pour, and I'm going to mix them pretty good. They do mix pretty easily, so that's a bonus. This pouring medium does dry very nicely, and so I have another video coming up where I've got the neon set of this Royal Langnickel paint. I have the neon set, so that video will be coming up later this week where I review that set. And so this pouring medium I purchased at Walmart, and it was $12.67 for a 16 ounce. And the paint was also purchased at Walmart, and they were $3.49 each. All right, so I am just layering each color in, kind of pouring it down the side to make sure I have an even layer. This paint is just slightly thicker than my normal mixture. I usually use Floetrol, but I'm going to go ahead and just use it exactly how they say on the packaging, but it is just slightly thicker than what I normally would use. So I just layering all 4 colors twice here in the cup, and then I'm going to go ahead, and you could at this time do a tree ring pour by kind of going around in rings, but I'm just pouring it straight out, doing a straight pour. So let me give you a little better angle there so you can kind of see that paint as it's coming out. Now, one interesting thing I noticed with this pouring medium and this paint is the white did not very much stay like true white color. It kind of mixed in with the violet and the blue, and it became kind of a light lavender color. So the white did not stay white. And this is a technique where your colors really don't mix or muddy that much. This is a technique where usually your white would still stay a defined white. So since this paint is a little bit thicker, this canvas is a 10 by 10 inch canvas, and I just don't feel like I had enough paint down. So I'm going to go ahead and just take that cobalt blue and put it here on the edges, kind of the corners, just to kind of give it a little bit more coverage, a little bit of negative space at the corners. And so I'm just putting just a little bit down with the popsicle stick, using it to kind of spread it around. It's quite thick. So now I am just going to go ahead and tilt in a counterclockwise. You can go clockwise or counterclockwise. It does not matter. But I am going to go ahead and just kind of tilt this in a counterclockwise motion. And with the paint being so thick, I really have to tilt this like for quite a while, back and forth, back and forth. So I don't know. Now I do, for the next technique, the dirty pour, I am going to add a little bit of water. So we're going to, for that next pour, it'll not quite be so thick. And so this pouring medium, I did really like it. It does dry really true to color. And so it's just kind of weird that it's thick and it's kind of sticky. It's kind of weird, but what I am looking forward to doing with this pouring medium is I'm not too 100% happy with it on its own. I think this pouring medium would be really, really good. I'm going to experiment with maybe some of the bloom technique ingredients, like the wood conditioner and the ultra deep base, the untinted ultra deep base that I use for my bloom recipe. I'm going to experiment with kind of adding this pouring medium to some other pouring mediums and some other ingredients and see what we can get with it, because honestly, it's kind of an interesting pouring medium just on its own, and you get 16 ounces for $12.67, so that's kind of spendy in my opinion, but it did dry very nicely, very nice, and it's very self-leveling. It dried nice and level. It did not have any cracking or crazing or anything like that. Now, I did not put silicone in this pour, and notice we do have a few kind of little cells, little air bubbles that popped and stuff. So I had just mixed this paint right before pouring, and so maybe I should have just let it sit there for a moment longer. But when I did let it sit there for a little bit longer to do this pour, it was super thick. So I ended up putting probably a good tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of water in it, just to kind of thin it down a little bit. So I am going to use silicone. I use 100% silicone treadmill oil, and I got that off of Amazon, and I only put 2 drops in 2 of the colors. I put 2 drops in the violet and 2 drops in the phthalo turquoise green, but that's it. So I didn't have too much of this cobalt blue left, just trying to get the last little bit out. And I'm just pouring this all in the white because I'm going to use up all the last of this pouring medium and paint that was mixed up today. So just 2 colors having silicone. Less is more with silicone. You can really overdo it. Just put a little tiny bit of silicone. So okay, I'm going to go ahead and just give that kind of a figure 8, kind of just slightly mixing it there, but not too much. Now I'm just randomly pouring this down. This is a dirty pour. Some people call this more of like a ribbon pour. They all have so many different variations and names, but just randomly pouring this out. Notice that the violet and the white did mix again, and our white became kind of more of a lavender color. So I'm just getting the last little bit out here at the corners. Now I'm going to go ahead and tilt it all the way here to the corners, and even adding a little bit of water, this is still quite thick. This is a really thick pouring medium, and I had at this point probably added, it was probably a third water, a third pouring medium, and a third paint, and it was still quite thick. So I am excited to add this pouring medium in with other paints and other pouring mediums and see how it works if we kind of just experimenting and adding it in with some of the other stuff we've been working with. So all right, just kind of getting that, all the edges, tilting it. With it being so thick, it's kind of hard. So I'm not seeing any cells right away at all. With my Floetrol, usually when I do a dirty pour, I'm getting cells already. But this one kind of surprised me. I thought, okay, we're not going to get any cells, no big deal. But when you go to torch it, oh my gosh, you really get cells. So I'm just using a creme brulee torch or a chef's torch, and I am just using it probably 3 to 4 inches up above the canvas. I am not letting the flames actually touch the paint. You're more just letting it heat. You're not really like flame to paint. You do not want to actually touch the flame to the paint. About 3 to 4 inches will do. So look at those cells pop up, and the cells continue to pop up for the next few minutes. So this was my review of the Royal Langnickel pouring medium and paint. Later this week I will have a review of the Royal Langnickel neon set. So I am excited to see how bright and neon that they dry, because these colors, these 4 colors that I used in this paintings, these 2 paintings, they dried nice and bright. So thank you so much for watching, and hope to see you next time.